In addition to achieving peace and to preventing a nuclear Iran, there's a third momentous challenge before us: reducing the world's dependence on oil. This would help cleanse our world after more than a century of industrial pollution. It would help our economies by decreasing our dependence on a depleting resource. We have growing demand, depleting supply. This will cripple many economies, especially in Asia and Africa. It would send poverty through the roof. So there's an economic and social as well as an environmental logic to finding alternatives to oil. And of course, such a shift would end the massive transfer of wealth to some of the world's most odious exporters of terrorism and fanaticism. So here's the question: can we dramatically reduce our dependence on oil? Remember that sometimes one or two inventions can change centuries of habit. For many centuries, salt was highly valued for preserving food. Caravans of camels crossed the desert bearing it. It was nearly worth its weight in gold. The salt trade helped build economic empires, and the world's dependence on salt showed no signs of slackening. But then came two inventions: canning and refrigeration. And virtually overnight, salt lost its immense value. The same thing may happen to oil. Scientific and technological breakthroughs could dramatically reduce the world's dependence on petroleum. And Israel could play an important role in making that happen. You know, of course, about our high-tech companies, our venture capital funds, our engineers and scientists, our patents, our Nobel laureates, in biotech and agrotech, in solar energy, in desalination, and in so many other fields. Israeli innovation is transforming the way we live. Two perceptive writers called us the startup nation. We are the startup nation. Now we must use our minds to help achieve breakthroughs in the fields of cleaner energy. I'll give you one example. Israel could apply its unique expertise to the juncture of water and energy. The global need for water is rapidly increasing. Yet a third of the cost of producing clean water is energy. Now, seawater is abundant. There's an endless supply of it. And it can be readily desalinated in many areas with solar power and then channeled inland. Israel has mastered both of these technologies, desalination and solar energy. And it can make a decisive contribution to alleviating water shortages around the world, especially in the growing economies of Asia and the parched expanses of the Middle East. I'm in the process of establishing a national commission that will bring together Israel's finest scientists, businessmen, and engineers. We hope to work with other governments, with experts around the world. Our plan is to dramatically reduce our dependence on oil in the next decade, providing an example that can be emulated by other countries throughout the world. I don't know which technology will prevail, but I know this: if we can cross the oceans, fly the skies, and reach the moon, we surely should be able to harness water, wind, and sun to power our world. My friends, I know that these three enormous challenges, achieving peace, preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, and developing alternative energies, I know that these triple tasks seem daunting. But I want you to remember another mission whose success seemed completely implausible when Theodor Herzl embarked on it over a century ago. The challenges confronting Herzl's vision of a Jewish state were nothing less than overwhelming. Most of the world's Jews lived in Europe and had no intention of moving to the barren land of their forefathers. Few saw the clouds gathering on the horizon, and fewer still saw the need for action. But with a clear plan and an almost biblical, prophetic sense of urgency, Herzl helped the Jewish people overcome what appeared to be their innate condition of powerlessness. His implausible idea, his idea gathered so much force that within decades, our people emerged from the worst massacre in history to establish an independent state in our ancestral homeland. And then our small people set out to dedicate itself to the great task of building a modern Jewish state. In an understandable moment of frustration, before all this became a reality, Herzl lamented. Here's what he said: the tragedy of the Jewish people is that we do not believe in ourselves. But he didn't lose faith or faith. He said, we are strong enough to form a state. We possess all the human and material resources for this purpose. If we will it, he famously said, it is no dream. My friends, we have learned from history that if the Jewish people are united and determined, if we harness our hopes and our dreams, the hardest tasks are within our reach. We are a small but great people, a people generous enough to forge a lasting peace, a people brave enough to thwart the dangers that confront us, and a people creative enough to once again help steer humanity towards a better future for all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, clearly, Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.